welcome everyone to season 7, episode 4 of the Focus TV. Got Xavier Wyatt here, Cardo Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. And we're gonna get straight to it. The NFL continues to keep moving, as does college basketball. We're getting closer and closer to conference play. Some folks are in a good place heading into it, and some folks are in the opposite. Ray's going to give you guys an update on what the Washington Wizards have been up to, and then we get to see what Cardo has for us in rapid fire. That said, Octavia, the floor is yours.
Yeah, we just finished week 12, which is crazy. We only have 6 weeks left, and some things have changed and some things have stayed the same, but I guess you could say a little bit of change has happened for the New York Giants. I feel like this is probably like their first winning streak in like 20 years. I don't know. They're on a 2-game win streak right now. They defeated the equally terrible New England Patriots of a score of 10-7. So that tells you a lot. Wasn't a whole lot of offense going on in this, but enough for the Giants to get the win. Tommy DeVito was 17 of 25, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 carries for 6 yards. One thing that don't change is he gets sacked. He was sacked 6 times. Saquon Barkley had 12 carries for 46 yards and 1 touchdown. I'm sorry, no touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, 12 carries, 46 yards, and 1 reception for 6 yards. Jalen Hyatt had 5 receptions for 109 yards, and Isaiah Hodgins had 1 reception for 12 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, I'm honestly annoyed every week I have to watch them play, to be completely honest. But for their sake, they were able to pull out a win this week. Although it be against a very porous New England team, I don't know what's going on. They don't know who their quarterback is. I mean, we know Bill doesn't say much. He still ain't saying much. But it just looks bad all the way around. But for the New York Giants, I mean, the one thing that I thought that I would see a lot more this season was more of Jalen Hyatt, who's been clocked apparently as the fastest player in the NFL, even faster than Tyreek apparently. But he notched his very first 100-yard receiving game, seeming to see like he has a little bit of chemistry with Tommy DeVito, who's playing pretty well. I know last week I said, please don't start this whole Tommy DeVito is the future thing. I believe their GM has already come out and said that as soon as Daniel Jones is healthy, he'll be back. I don't know how that makes sense either, but you know it is. With this 2-game win streak, it does take them out of right now the top 5. Well, they were out of the top 3 as far as in the draft order, but with the win for the Chicago Bears last night, it puts them at 5. So definitely still have some pretty good draft position after a season of just turmoil. That doesn't stop as well. There were reports that Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator, were having issues. I say issues because I don't really know what happened. But there were signs that they were in a bad place. Although they have already come out and refuted that. But I mean, somebody has to be in a bad place for what type of season they've had this year. But their defense was the one thing that held them together in this game. They limited Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi to 139 yards passing and picked off the New England Patriots on 3 separate occasions. 2 of the 3 turnovers set up scoring drives by the offense. The first of those 2 instances occurred late in the first half. So, I mean, the defense is doing everything that they can with what they have. They have now, they continue to force the turnovers and now have plus 5 turnover differential this season, which is actually the 8th highest in the NFL. On Sunday, they picked up the 3 passes, a lost fumble for a plus 2 differential. The Giants have now picked off 3 passes in each of their last 2 games. They have not done that since 2015. Last week against Washington, they were plus 6 with 3 picks and 3 fumble recoveries. So again, a nice 2-game streak for their defense. I think Kayvon Thibodeau's been coming on as of late as well. But again, you know, I always say, granted, you have to play the teams that are in front of you, but you also got to look at the team that's in front of you as well. They did it against the Patriots and they did it against the Commanders. Isn't a great feat. They'll definitely have some more challenges as the season progresses. Tommy DeVito, doing well for a rookie quarterback, starting to get a little bit of a feel for the game. He had his first NFL start in Meadowlands or MetLife, whatever they call it now. And he completed 68% of his passes for the second straight week, threw for 191 yards and a touchdown. Only thing that, of course, is going to be a tarnish to the game is he did have a fumble in the first quarter, but they were obviously able to rebound from that and pull out a win. Lastly, I was talking about Jalen Hyatt. Yeah, probably his best pro game to date, but he did also make a little bit of history for the Giants. Hyatt becomes the first Giant to record 100 or more receiving yards in a regular season game since last November. Hyatt has made several big catches in the game, catches of 22, 29 yards, and 41 yards, which were the Giants' three longest plays of the game. So hopefully they're able to get him a little bit more acclimated, just not when they play against the Eagles, but, for their sake, and see where he's able to go next year, because obviously, season's over for them. For the love of God, I don't know why they keep putting them on primetime games, but they have another one. I don't know why they keep doing this to us, but they will play Monday night against the Packers. Maybe everybody will be asleep by 9 o'clock Eastern time because, I don't know, but crazier things have happened. The Packers are coming off of a win on Thanksgiving against the Detroit Lions. Looks like for them, Christian Watson is starting to heat up a little bit, and Jordan Love is playing better, playing kind of more so how he played earlier in the season than in the latter. So they have a chance. Maybe it'll be a good NFC battle. We'll see. But yeah. Next, we'll go to the next easiest game because it just happened. And I'm going to tell you, this picture bothers me because I hated the celebration. And it's not just because it was the Cowboys. I hated it. It was just, who wraps turkey legs and puts them in the Salvation Army bull tub? Like, how long were they there? They were probably cold. This was ridiculous, but whatever. Washington Commanders, I guess you can say, played against the Dallas Cowboys. They were there. I don't know if they played against them. I don't know what it is. Dallas has a thing with beating teams like 40-10. That's been happening a lot, but they upped it by 5 points this week, beating the Commanders 45-10. On the Commander side, Sam Howell was 28-44, 300 yards, 1 interception, 2 carries for 13 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. Brian Robinson Jr. had 15 carries for 53 yards and 2 receptions for 11. And Curtis Samuel had 9 receptions for 100 yards. On the other side, Dak Prescott was 22 of 32, 331 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 carry for 10 yards, second straight game with 0 sacks. Tony Pollard had 13 carries for 79 yards and 1 touchdown, 6 receptions for 24 yards. Brandon Cooks, 4 receptions, 72 yards and 1 touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 4 receptions, 53 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 carry for 0 yards. Kayvon Turpin, 1 reception, 34 yards for 1 touchdown. And Rico Dowdle, 3 carries for 11 yards and 1 reception for 15 yards and 1 touchdown. I'll start with the Cowboys just because I feel like it'll be quicker. This was their 3rd or 4th bye week of the season. But again, you play the teams that are in front of you. This is a division game. Crazier things have happened before, but nothing crazy happened this Thanksgiving. The only thing that's crazy is that Deron Bland got another touchdown. The Washington Commanders couldn't even stop that. And they had a chance to stop it. Just can't tackle. It's not that much of a surprise, but Jesus. But Deron Bland with his 5th pick 6 of the year, breaking the NFL record. I think they said during the broadcast that Deion Sanders had 9 his whole career, and Deron Bland has 5 in a season. It's kind of wild. Although we know he is nowhere near the player that Deion Sanders was, but still in comparison, it's a great feat for him. Definitely something to tell your kids about when you're old and gray that I did 5 pick 6 in a year. But yeah, nothing to see here. Dak is playing great. And I think he recently just had a quote where, he's kind of agree with what a lot of media has said in the past over these last couple of games that, I mean, I'm playing well, but I haven't done anything yet. And I think we all know that the Cowboys with 2 straight 12-win seasons, they win regular season games. That's what they do. We won't really see the test of them until we get into the playoffs, although they have a little bit of a stretch coming up soon where they'll be able to play against some formidable opponents that maybe we get a little bit more knowledge of what type of streak that they're really on. But I mean, he in this stretch of his season, Dak has 18 touchdown passes, just 2 interceptions in his last 6 games. Um, he threw touchdowns to all the people I named: Rico Dotto, Brandon Cook, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Turpin. He's completed passes to 10 different receivers. And there is buzz of him being in the MVP conversation at some point. Again, I think we got to get a little bit deeper into the season, even though we're pretty deep, but a little bit further to see what other teams they play up against and see how he stacks up against those teams that are above 500. Because a lot of these teams that they have beaten are sub 500 teams. But again, you got to beat the teams that are in front of you. You got to win those games, and that's what they're doing with ease. I don't even know if they're really breaking a sweat. If you want to nitpick anything, kicker Brandon Aubrey, second straight game missing an extra point. We remember last year with Brett Maher and I don't know what you call it, the yips or whatever, where he could not make a field goal. Granted, Brandon Aubrey is nowhere near that. He's been having a great year for them, especially as a rookie kicker. I don't expect anything more of this to happen, but just, of course, something to keep an eye on. But yeah, they're clicking on all cylinders. They're going to have a pretty good, decent test this week against the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday night. So that will be interesting to see. Seattle coming off of a loss as well. So, a lot of teams like to bounce back after losses, so, and it'll be a Thursday night game. So I'm just glad we have a good Thursday night game. We haven't had a lot of those this year, which we usually never really have a lot of them during the season. So it's nice that we'll have a pretty decent one. The Washington Commanders, I mean, I don't know what we're doing at this point. I mean, the defense is horrible. Just horrible. I mean, they're horrible. Granted that they did let go of their 2 top pass rushers, and Chase Young as well as Montez Sweat, who are both doing well in their new environment. Montez Sweat already got a bag in Chicago, and they won last night on Monday Night Football, in large parts to a lot of his play. And I mean, I was already mad when they decided to send Chase Young to the 49ers, and he really don't got to do too much over there either, but he's sitting pretty in a nice situation, and the Washington Commanders is just atrocious. 12 games into the season, they have finally officially, to the pleasure of many Washington Commanders fans, fired their defensive coordinator, Jack Del Rio. I know people are hoping that there are more fires to follow, and I think we're all in agreement that probably will happen. I've said it pretty much all season long. Ron Rivera just looks so disinterested in what he's doing. He is ready to go on young pasture, retire, and just live the rest of his life. But yeah, it's bad. And what's even worse is their offense isn't horrible. Sam Howell has had a pretty decent year as well. Not sure what's going on with Terry McLaurin. I don't know if it's a scheme. He's not being able to get open, but your number one wide receiver, I don't think he's been leading in catches or yardage for wide receivers, if at all this season, maybe a handful of times. We've seen a lot of times where it's Curtis Samuels, it's Jahan Dotson, I mean, Logan Thomas, but Terry McLaurin not being the top stat leader is a little concerning. But to think that their offense has not been horrible, even though their offensive line was pretty bad. I think they've gotten a little bit better over the season. Sam Howell was only sacked 4 times this week. That's 5 less than probably what they average. But they also had a weird stat that they were able to garner during this game. According to OPA stats, the Commanders were the first NFL team in the last 25 years to lose after doing 5 things: 100 plus rushing yards, 200 plus passing yards, 35 plus minutes of time possession and no more than 25 penalty yards and no more than 1 turnover and still lose. And to lose 45-10 to still win the time of possession is crazy. That just tells you how fast Dallas was scoring and how long it was taking the Commanders to not score. I don't know what is going on. The only silver lining for them is that probably Josh Harris will blow it all up. See what happens with the enemy. I read a report also that apparently some of the players aren't giving glowing recommendations when it comes down to him as well. I mean, he doesn't have that much to work with. I think his reputation precedes him. We know the type of coach he is. And of course, you're in a new situation. You're getting used to new players and you're getting used to new things. So we'll see. I'm sure he'll be in the mix for a possible head coach position again. But who knows? And it doesn't get any easier for the Washington Commanders. Their next game is going to be against the Miami Dolphins Sunday at 1. And probably do this all over again. But you never know. Last but not least, the best game of the weekend, just call it what it is. Philadelphia Eagles played against the Buffalo Bills. They defeated the Buffalo Bills 37-34 in overtime. Jalen Hurts was 18 of 31, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 14 carries for 65 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Yes, that is 5 altogether. DeAndre Swift had 14 carries for 80 yards, 1 reception for 4 yards. Devontae Smith, 7 receptions, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. A.J. Brown, 5 receptions, 37 yards, 1 touchdown. And Olamide Zaccheaus, 1 reception, 29 yards, and a beautiful touchdown that I didn't even see coming. I personally don't know how many more games they can win like this. I'll be the first person to say it. 4 straight games with halftime deficits, by double digits, to come back and grit out a win in, as they called it, because I couldn't really see on TV, but a downpour, torrential rain, to have the things go right that needed to go right and when they needed to happen definitely played in their favor. I won't be the person that says that it wasn't. But again, that ain't got nothing to do with us. It's not my fault Josh Allen and Gabe Davis wasn't on the same page. Sounds like a personal problem. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how many more games they can win like this, playing very porous in the first half. There's this funny meme that shows the duration of an Eagles fan during a game. And it's literally the first half, you get started, you're excited, and then like there's this big lull in the middle where you're like, I'm about to effing lose it. And then there's this little part at the end where you're like, oh, okay, we won. It's not great, to continue to do that, especially with the teams that they have coming up. This is the gauntlet of their season. And so far, they've been able to withstand the punches that have been thrown at them. I mean, for goodness sakes, the Buffalo Bills have 500 yards of total offense. It's like, I don't know how they lost that game. But, it's the will of the team, and it's the players doing, what they need to do. A lot of times you hear, players over plays, and the players that were out there, did what they needed to do at the time. I mean, Jake Elliott has been clutch since he stepped in Philadelphia, his very first game-winning kick early on in his career. I think it was against the Giants when he first got here. His clutch 59-yard goal with 20 seconds left sent the game to overtime. He has never missed a game-tying or go-ahead field goal attempt in the final 2 minutes of regulation or overtime. He's 8 for 8. I actually think he's 9 for 9 now. I think this might be a little bit behind, but I mean, to have it when you need it, 60 yards, in that type of weather, and throughout the day on Sunday, to see kickers missing it in bright sunny conditions from the 35-yard line in domes, shows you that this is a tough player. The rush defense was definitely not great this week. I know Fletcher Cox went out with an injury, but still no excuse. The top-ranked unit yielded more than 150 yards on the ground, including a pair of rushing touchdowns to Josh Allen, who had a great game. And, they definitely were able to pretty much have their way for a certain period of times. But, Jalen Hurts, after going 4 of 11 for passing and for 33 yards and 2 turnovers in the first half, flipped the switch in the second half, going 14 for 20, 167 yards with 4 total touchdowns and 0 turnovers. He also had 7 carries for the 43 yards. He willed them to it. It was definitely a team win, 100%. Hurts had 10 rushing touchdowns in 2021, 13 rushing touchdowns in 2022, and 11 rushing touchdowns in this season, which is now he is the first quarterback ever with at least 10 rushing touchdowns in 3 consecutive seasons, joining Cam Newton as the only quarterbacks in NFL history to do so. It was definitely a great game. I think it was probably a greater game if you weren't a fan of either team. You could really care less what happened. It was just gritty football. Both teams played really, really well. And I expected the Buffalo Bills to play well, especially coming off of letting go Ken Dorsey and their win last week against the Jets. So I expected for them to play well, and they did. Jalen Hurts is now solely minted in the MVP conversation, which, of course, is going to go up and down all season for the rest of the year. But I'm sure all he cares about is getting back to the Super Bowl. They're currently 10-1 and definitely have a huge test this week, playing against the San Francisco 49ers. Javon Hargrave is over there, so I'm sure he's telling them all our secrets. And it's going to be a dogfight. The trash talk has already started. It's been reignited from last year. AJ Brown is already telling Philadelphia fans to go ahead and troll Debo. Debo's not taking back his comments, calling, James Bradbury ass. It's going to be a good one. The only thing is, I am such a great friend that my best friend bought us tickets to the Beyonce movie maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't know who told her to put it on a Sunday at 3:30. I'm looking at her like, are you crazy? But of course, being the friend that I am, I will be in a movie theater with the game on my phone. I don't care who sees the light. I'm going to try not to yell and scream. I was hoping the movie was like, a good hour and a half. This goddamn movie is 2 hours and 48 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it at all. And we went to the concert. I don't know why we got to go to the movie, but here we are. This is why I need more female friends that like sports. Nobody else would ever do this to me on a Sunday. I was like, huh?
Beyonce, what the fuck? Beyonce, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck?
I'm like, wait, what? She texted me like a few weeks ago and was like, I hope you're free. And I like, there's something. Let me go look who we played. I was like, you gotta be shitting. But I'm gonna be a good friend because she had already spent her money before she asked me. So, pray for me.
It's a perfect time to teach a valuable lesson.
Man,
what I don't understand is she knows because she went with me to the Philly game in Philly when they played Washington. She sees how crazy I am at games. I don't know why she thought I would be in the theater with however many Beyonce beehive people.
She milking the fuck out this goddamn tour. God damn.
Taylor Swift did it, so she got to do it too. But 2 hours and 48 minutes? What? They said it's from the inception of the thought of the tour. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I don't know if I need to know all of this. I seen the tour. I saw where her brain spit out. It was amazing. It was a great show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need to see it in the movie theater.
Yeah.
But I will be there.
Look, I love Nas. Seen him a couple times. Ain't seen no goddamn Nas movie. Let me know when the next album come out. I'm there, dog. I'm gonna be listening, man. But fuck all that. Yeah, this is crazy. She got a movie coming out, man. For what? See the same man. And then back on the football thing, I don't know what's worse between the Wizards and the Commanders, man. They making our area look bad. It's depressing around. Look, shout out GW and George Mason. They winning out here. They holding it down the area. Right now, it's
and
bad.
every time I see it too, I'm like, this the team that don't give out credentials? Like, we trying to cut me in. Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
You know how hard it is to not be able to play keep away in a 60-minute game and you had it for 35?
35 plus, bro.
Like you failed at playing keep away.
45 on Thanksgiving.
I think he just holding on because it might be terminology in his contract where if he quit, he can't get his money.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
the only thing keeping him involved, dog.
Yeah.
I think he already checked out.
He been checked out. He don't care about nothing going on out there.
He probably out here like, yeah, man, just do the best y'all can. Just chilling.
Just try to put good tape out, whether it's for here or somewhere else.
Yeah, tell the corner, this y'all chance.
My man said the freedom is yours.
Man, he looking at the calendar. Yeah, about 5 more weeks. Man, he good, baby. I'm home free home.
I know that vacation has been planned out to a T. They leaving straight from Ashburn.
Like 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Let's go. We out here.
Oh no, he ain't coming back to Ashburn. Wherever that last road game is. It's been real, fellas.
It comes to second bus in here. My ride is here.
He run across the field, shake the coach hand.
You're not gonna stop running.
Right out there ringing, bro. I ain't even going on the line.
Man, gonna do that exit interview from a yacht.
Doing that. That phone ain't even getting answered. No live stream, phone call.
Hey, man, here's a prepared comment and keep it moving.
He probably just recorded. He's like, I already recorded it 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, that last payment came in. We good.
I recorded my exit interview 6 weeks ago. Here you go.
It's been on your desk, actually. Did you check your spam folder? All right. Ray, let's slide over to the Whispers.
Oh, man. Well, we get to talk about something we haven't talked about in weeks. The Wizards winning the basketball game. Imagine that. They beat the Pistons last night. I know some folks are saying they beat the Pistons, but at this point, nobody associated with this team can take a win for granted. So congratulations, they beat the Pistons. The Wizards can't look down at anybody right now. They need all the wins they can get. They're sitting at 3-14. So, like Octavia just said about the football teams, you got to beat who's in front of you. And the Pistons were in front of them last night, and they went out and got the win. We were talking on our Outlook. It wasn't a foregone conclusion, man. Wilson pointed out the few things that the Pistons do well speak directly to the Wizards' weaknesses. So there was some rightful concern there, but the Wizards were able to hold on and come out with the victory. They again were dominated on the offensive glass, but they were able to limit the second chance points, which is important because they've been getting killed in that area recently. Daniel Gafford, man, he's continuously fighting for his life, and he had to deal with 2 young, bouncy, athletic guys that were just trying to put him on the poster the entire night. So kudos to him for going down swinging. But shout out to Kuz. He had an onslaught in the third quarter that pretty much put this game away. And for him, this is what we want to see from him on a more consistent basis. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he was super aggressive and under control. Cardell pointed out that he handled the ball a lot and initiated the offense, which kind of kind of kept him engaged and kept him having to be sharp, because if he's starting things off and he's out of whack, then that thing goes to hell quickly. So, he was able to be under control, able to direct things, and able to get their offense settled, which is what he needs to do. This is the kind of game where he kind of lives up to the words he spoke in the offseason, about being one of the leaders on his team. And whenever this coup shows up, the Wizards are in the game, and it wasn't just because it was the Pistons. We seen him do it against the Bucks, and a couple other teams who aren't at the bottom of the league. So it's just a matter of him doing it on a game in, game out basis. We know they're not a contender or anything like that, but they don't have to be 3-14. We saw over a recent stretch, save the game against the Hawks. They've been in games and been competitive. They just haven't been able to finish. But I think the more often they put themselves in a position to win, then, the math is going to work out at some point, and they're going to get some of those games. But it's up to them, man. Defensively, they were pretty solid for most of the night. They didn't give up one 30-point quarter in the game last night, which I think that's the first time that's happened all season. In fact, I'm pretty confident. We're used to seeing 70-point halves and the other team in triple digits by the end of the third quarter. So, it was, kind of refreshing just to see them shut the valve off. They forced the Pistons into a horrible 3-point shooting night, and that's because they just weren't standing there watching them shoot threes. They were closing them out, running them off the line, and making them take tough contested shots, which is what you have to do. So if you let teams just bomb away with no resistance, then they're going to make a good portion of those shots. That's what we saw in the Hawks game. I think at one point it was almost the end of the third quarter. The Hawks had 2 turnovers as a team. That just means the Wizards just weren't there defensively. Last night was a different story. So, they start off the road trip with a win. Hopefully they can parlay this into some momentum, get a couple more. Wilson pointed out this could by the time they come back home, we could be having a different conversation. So they got to go out there and win games, man. That's all it is. And this was a good starting point, no matter who it was against. Like I said, man, they got to make up some ground and make it up quickly. But good game from Kuz, who's one of their leaders. Defensively they held up, and they really did some things they can build on, and hopefully they can just take advantage and keep the momentum going.
Appreciate it, Ray. We're gonna move on and go to our first break. When we get back, college basketball. Cardell said going to talk about one of the teams that's been doing their part in the area in terms of winning consistently, because so few teams are doing that as a whole. You're watching Focus TV. When we get back, going to dive into our college basketball segment. Welcome back to the Focus TV as promised. All right, Cardell, floor is yours.
Yeah, man. GW. They finished their Bahamas trip off in a thrilling fashion, man. They rallied from a 16-point first half deficit to knock off Delaware 81-71 in the third place game of the Baja Mar Hoops Nassau Championship on Sunday. GW trailed 38-25 at the half after shooting a season low 30%, 9-30 from the floor in the first half. An early 8-0 run in the first 3 minutes of the second half cut the deficit to 5 and set the tone for a tight ball game for the remainder of the game. GW kept knocking on the door of a 2-possession game, but eventually busted through the door in the game's final 12 minutes. Trailing by 8, 52-44, James Bishop IV scored with 11:25 left to cut Delaware's lead to 6, which was the beginning of 8 consecutive made shots for the Revolutionaries. For those that don't know, they changed their name. They're no longer George Washington Colonials. They're the George Washington Revolutionaries. So if you hear that, that's what I'm talking about. Don't get confused. Over the next 5 minutes, 3-point play from Darren Buchanan Jr., redshirt freshman, transfer from Virginia Tech, played at Wilson High School in D.C., tied the game at 62 with 6:17 remaining, and Bishop scored on the next possession to give GW his first lead at 64-62. GW made 14 of his final 16 shots and 22 of 27 in the second half overall, which is 77%, to post a season best 56 points after halftime. Bishop was named to the all-tournament team after another great performance, posting a game-high 28 points on 10 of 16 shooting. Senior guard tied the event record with 78 points equally in March set in 2017 by Weber State Jarek Harding. Maximus Edwards, coming off the bench for the first time all season, scored 17 of his 24 points in the second half and matched Bishop with the 10 for 16 day from the floor. Darren Buchanan shipped in 13 points and 8 rebounds as GW shot 53% overall and limited the Blue Hens to 44% shooting, including 4 of 24 from beyond the arc. GW, as they come back to the States, will remain on the road, so to speak, as they take on South Carolina Friday night at 7 p.m. on the SEC Network Plus. Also, fresh off the 2-1 week in the Bahamas, the A10 conference on Monday named James Bishop IV as the A10 Player of the Week and Darren Buchanan Jr. The A10 Rookie of the Week. GW has won 4 of the 6 weekly awards given out by the conference through the season's first 3 weeks, while also the program's best start, 6-1 since the 2015-2016 season. Bishop earns the weekly accolade for the 3rd time in his career following an all-tournament performance at the Bahamar Hoops Nassau Championship. The senior guard tallied a trio of 20-point games and tied the tournament record with 78 points, averaging 26 per game. Bishop also notched a pair of 28-point performances, including the efficient 10-60 showing in GW's comeback victory against Delaware on Sunday. Shot 51% from the floor and 35% from beyond the arc, while also dishing out 5 assists per game. Through the season's first 7 contests, Bishop is in his usual spot, number 1 in the A10 in scoring at 20.9 points per game, while also leading the conference, his usual spot, with 5.1 assists per game. Buchanan continues GW stranglehold and Rookie of the Week honors, joining 2-time winner, another redshirt freshman on GW, Gary Johnson, with the distinction. The native Washingtonian averaged 17.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, and shot 66% from the field during the Bahamas trip. He helped Will the Blue up to a double overtime victory on Friday night with a 25-point performance on 9 of 12 shooting, tossing 6 rebounds and 2 assists. He followed up with 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals on Saturday versus University of Illinois Chicago, before earning his first start on Sunday versus Ohio and chipping in 13 points and 8 rebounds. Buchanan has reached double figures in 6 consecutive games and is second among league first-year guards in scoring at 13.4 points per game and third in rebounds with 5.4 per contest.
Shout out to GW for getting off to a fast start.
Just to put that out there, not to cut you off, GW's first in the A10 right now, 6-1, and George Mason is right behind him at 5-1. So both, they got nice. They always got the little crosstown rivalry. They holding it down. It looks like it's building towards something. They handle their business in non-conference. I think they play early January, so it's headed towards a hell of a collision. Doing conference play.
That's a great look, especially for Mason. It's a great look indeed. On to the Maryland Women's. They're not quite where GW is to start the year. They're trying to find their way. Talked to you guys last week, what they were coming off of. Like GW, they had one of those Thanksgiving type tournaments, this one out in Cancun. They had a busy week, 3 games. As Cardell mentioned, same thing with GW, playing 3 games. They got out to a good start against Washington State with the strong opening quarter, and the Cougars dominated the second and third periods. Maryland would go on to lose to Washington State 87-67. Again, fast start. Then once the Cougs got going, and sadly reminded me of that game specifically, reminded me of another team we talk about. They just never punched back after the Cougs punched. Not typical, but that's what they've been that's what they've been dealing with this season so far. In game 2, they bounced back, learned a little bit about themselves, getting a win against a tough Green Bay team. I know on the surface, someone says Green Bay is not a big deal. This same Green Bay team that Maryland beat the Washington State team that beat Maryland by 20. So they got Washington State out the way a couple days later. Maryland beat Green Bay 68-59. They had to rally in this one. Big games from Shannon Sellers and Bree McDaniel with 23 points and 19 respectively. Jakia Brown-Turner with a double-double, 10 points and 13 rebounds, while Riley Nelson played 33 minutes and scored 9 points. Talented freshman, getting a ton of minutes there. There's minutes to be had, especially in the backcourt for Maryland, and is a good sight to see her start to claim some of those minutes. She played a pivotal role in that third quarter in which Maryland kind of got jump started. Then some of the older players took it from there and helped them run away with the win in the fourth. In their final game, Maryland would play a little bit more closer to their standard of play against UMass, beating them 92-63. 3 players scored in double figures, led by Brown Turner, 17 points. Cheyenne Sellers and Renee Alexander both added 13, while 4 other players finished with 8 points as every member of the roster got minutes in the win. Maryland returns home for 2 games this week. The first Wednesday against Niagara, then Sunday they host George Mason. Big thing with Maryland right now is they need to find who they are as a team. I know it's cliche in sports. Everybody, some people don't really pay attention to it too much. No matter what level you're on, whatever team you are, every year is a different iteration of who you are. And you got to get back to matching that standard. This group is trying to find their way. Hopefully they're able to find a way by the time conference play starts, which it's like next week. Their first conference game is December 10th against Northwestern. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll keep you guys updated come next week. And just a reminder, the Big Ten every year since Maryland's been in it, it's not a joke. It gets better each and every year. So they need to find who they are quickly. There is a world where if you don't go in the Big Ten and handle your business, you be on the outside looking in. So they need to find who they are. And it's great to see some of the youngsters step up a little bit because right now all you know is they're a veteran-laden team, but this veteran-laden team hasn't been together. It's just vets. They need to become a team, and they need to do so rather quickly. So they got 2 games this week, then conference play starts. Yeah, quick.
You know it's a rough time in our area with Maryland women is out this moment. It is we got a cloud over this area, man. God damn, man, what is going on?
And like any other year, no one probably would be tripping over, they play South Carolina, UConn on a regular basis. But in a year where you had what? You had Diamond for an extra year almost. Cheyenne was here with Diamond. There was some continuity there. Mm-hmm. There's no continuity right now.
And that's what you're seeing across college basketball. Mm-hmm. That's why you're seeing a lot of L's.
Yep.
And when you might not expect it, because it's just all teams just got a bunch of transfers, and these coaches using non-conference to try to honestly just develop a team. Like hoping non-conference they can get high, and that's why the NCAA kind of going back slowly but surely after COVID. Like yeah, y'all got one time. And they got to be approved, and they got to be for a damn good reason. Otherwise, y'all got to stay and stick this shit out because it's tough right now.
And I'm happy that you brought that up because it's going on both the men's and women's side. We're seeing people's the preseason polls shattered, shambles, both sides. This happened quick.
Right. Well, the men's are literally the worst team in the Big Ten right now. They playing right now, and they beating the hell out of Ryder, but Ryder's horrible. But they're literally the worst team in the Big Ten right now. With all those big time recruits and stuff like that, man. That's what I'm saying, man. It's just those days of recruits being legit. Like, think about it. The best recruits that came out of high school are the kids that were overlooked. Like, look at the Ivy League. Look what the youngest are doing in the Ivy League, man. Like Malik Mack and obviously the young fella Tyler Perkins and all those guys. Like, look what they're doing. Those are the kids that were overlooked. Got the last D1 offers had to go Ivy and stuff like that. The guys that were already the guys, as soon as they hit high school and carried it through, they struggling. And that goes to show you, we know what it is, the social media, all that love, that fake love, they can't handle it. Telling you great. And then you get to college, you get smacked in the face. And these upperclassmen, I think that's why you need real people around you to let you know, yo, them dudes already in college, they were you. You just another player. They were you. They was getting that same love and all that. They fought their way through it. They know what they got to do. They looking at better things. They eyeing pros or they eyeing a career. They want to go out with a bang. They want to go out winners. It's not that easy, man. It's not that easy, man. And I think they lose sight of that hunger because they think it's going to be given to them. Whereas them youngers I just said that were overlooked, all they know is having to prove. So they come into it, I got to prove, I got to get ready. And that's the difference, man. They're literally the worst team in the Big Ten. It's ridiculous. And that's where Hunter Dickinson moving to the Big 12. So it got easier, and you worse off than ever. You know what I'm saying? It's wild over here. It's real out here, man. It's real.
It's really crazy. And again, like you said with the transfers, right? You almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you do the soft non-conference schedule, you set yourself up for failure for sure in conference play because they never got tested. Then if you go the other route, because if you know what public perception is, because people don't like to think for themselves, I almost rather you do what Freeze is doing. Go find out now who's here, who can handle it and who can't. It might not feel good early, but you'll know. So when you go to some other tests that aren't quite the test you've seen, you got a better idea. But right now, it's almost like flying blind, like you just said, Carter. You're almost flying blind to a degree. And that's tough. It's tough.
That's why you're gonna see the programs that have had older players that been together. They're gonna kill teams. They're gonna be the ones upsetting teams in the tournament, the conference tournament, all that, man. Because they got the know-how and they've been together, even though they may not be the most talented.
You can't substitute that part. I know people don't care about it, but it's kind of a big deal. It's time on task spent together, man. They've been through some things together already. Other folks, you're just getting together. You got to go through multiple tests before you even get on the same be in the same book as the other group that's been along together. Definitely not the same page, just within their realm, literally. But again, we're going to keep you guys updated on college basketball next week. Quick update with DC United. Told you guys to keep you updated as it happened. Last time we talked, they did not have the front office. Some things were moving around. Furniture was being rearranged. They hired Ali McKay as the club's new general manager and chief soccer officer. He spent the previous 5 years as Nashville's SC's assistant GM. He's the youngest active general manager and chief soccer officer in MLS at 37 years old. He was a former licensed player agent before joining Nashville. I think he joined Nashville in 2019 with the group that the group he belonged to as an agent was the Stellar Agency. During that time, he built and maintained extensive scouting networks in North America, Europe, South America, and Africa. In his role in DC, he'll oversee soccer operations, including player identification, recruitment, acquisition, and roster development, along with integration of the academy and youth pipeline, which is something DC United has been proud of in the past. So many homegrowns have come to play in MLS, and several have gone on to play in Europe. He'll also manage and oversee the technical staff. Possibly the most important to most of you listening, he'll lead the process to identify the next head coach, which is something they need to do very soon as that calendar starts moving. And shout out real quick to Luciano Acosta. He was named MLS MVP this year. You guys know Lucho. He spent his time here at DC United several years ago. Great to see him achieve such a feat. All right, we're going to take a second break. When we get back, we're going to see what Cardell has for us in Rapid Fire. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back. All right, Cardell, what you got for us this week in Rapid Fire?
Yeah, man, it's not good out in Colorado land, man. 3 recruits have decommitted from Colorado since head coach Deion Sanders called out the NCAA for its practice of allowing players to still go on visits after committing to a program. Last week, after receiver Winston Watkins Jr. reopened his recruitment, Sanders proposed that the NCAA modifies recruiting policy to prevent players who have already committed to a program from keeping their options open. Quote, a kid ain't even faithful to his girlfriend. You think he's going to be faithful to a school? Come on, man. That's an emotional thing, Sanders said. What I wish the NCAA would do, if you're committed somewhere, you can't go on any other visits. If you're committed, that means you're committed. You can't go on no other visits. Why would you be committed, but you're still letting kids go on other visits? That means you just playing. Antoine Hill Jr., a 4-star quarterback in the 2025 cycle, decommitted from Colorado on Sunday. Then on Monday, 3-star quarterback Danny O'Neal and 2025 running back J. Maurice Walker rescinded their commitments to the Buffalo's programs. Wilder had been committed to the Colorado since August. On three Hayes Fawcett that his recruitment is 100% open. Colorado finished the 23 campaign for an 8 overall after starting 3-0 in Sanders' first season leading the program. The Buffaloes lost their 6th consecutive game when Utah defeated Colorado 23-17 on Sunday. Octavia, there's a lot going on in Colorado land. It ain't the same when you're losing, man. You know what I'm saying? All that hype just disappeared, man. So, what are your thoughts on the decommitments? And do you feel that Deion's right that once you commit to a program, you can't get any more visits?
It's not fun when the rabbit got the gun. Because I'm pretty sure he took a lot of people that had committed
Exactly.
before. Yeah, so he just said something about something being emotional. It was like this is a little emotional as well. Yeah, come on, man. Like, just stop it. It's been like this since you were in college. Get out of here, bro. I feel you. I know you mad. I be mad too. But you did the exact same thing to other programs. Like, again, I feel like we sort of kind of had a situation like this last week when I said right message, wrong messenger. Yeah, bro, you can't be the one to say this. Like, after everything, now you want people to stay committed to the team they originally started with? You ain't stay committed to the team you originally started with. But you want some 16, 17, 18-year-old kid who you just said ain't faithful on their girlfriend, so why would they be faithful to you? So what are you expecting? Stop it. Just say the hype is gone. No more. There aren't any more famous people on the sidelines. Ain't nobody running around going like this and driving Rolls Royces. Because y'all been getting your ass whooped. I don't even think. Look, before you couldn't see a day. I don't even watch college football that much. But I promise you, I always knew when their game was on because that's all everybody talked about. I don't think I heard a peep in the last 6 weeks about them playing. I mean, they talking about them losing. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, reload and do it again next year because I mean, when the season started, it wasn't, I'm about 6, 7 guys away. I didn't hear that in the beginning of the season. I heard a lot of we gonna shock the world. You know how Coach Prime do. We gonna be good. Now we about 6, 7 players away. We need some big boys up front. I think y'all needed big boys up front before the season started as well, Deon. So I understand it's a process. It's your first year there, but now you gotta continue to recruit. Like, this is just a cop out to me. It's kind of beneath you as well, Deon. This is beneath you. Just take it on the chin. We playing like some ass, and now they don't want to come here. It's not that pretty out in Colorado anymore.
Hey, you said a lot right there, Octavia. Ray.
Yeah, man. Like Octavia said, man, this was just an emotional response, man. His feelings hurt. That's all. Because at first it was I'm bringing my luggage with me in this Louis. Then a couple weeks ago, when they asked him about his O-line, the answer was we just gonna get new O-linemen. Recruits hear you talking like that, man. So the second I don't play well, you just gonna find somebody to replace me? All right, cool. Let's not even deal with that. Let's go elsewhere. You can't have all that bravado and all that type of stuff when you getting your head kicked in every week and blowing 29-point leads or whatever. The season started with a lot of hype. It was cool. They won 3 games. It was all, do you believe now and all that stuff. Now you got some work to do, brother. You don't even have to be in this position. You can be at Jackson State right now and be a god.
Oh, by the way, Jackson State 7-4. They continue to win. But go ahead.
Hey, but I mean it's, and I get people's excitement over Deion, but you got to take things for what they are, man. Like, this was going to be an extremely uphill battle from the beginning. And that early success was probably the worst thing to happen because they probably forgot it was going to be an uphill battle. All the ruckus on the sidelines and all that type of stuff. I can't imagine those kids were focused. It's just too much going on, man. You got to keep the main thing the main thing. He's probably used to it because he's who he is. But you're in a position where you went to a terrible team at a much higher level than the one you were playing at. And those are just facts. And their deficiencies were in the trenches where games are won and lost on that level. So, I don't think it was a measured approach to the task at hand. And now he's on the other end of that and he's suffering the consequences. That's all that's happening, man. Hopefully he can rebound. But he's going to have to adjust. It is what it is. This is a realm he hasn't been in before. You got to go back to the drawing board and you got to figure some things out, man. Otherwise, it ain't going to get no better.
Wilson.
Hey, man, y'all said everything, man. Bro, just be quiet. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Just be quiet. Like, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say right now. It doesn't matter. Like, you lost a couple commits, right? Like, in the grand scheme of things, right? Be completely honest. You lost a couple commits. Shadur's coming back next year. Travis Hunter's coming back next year. You need to fix the trenches, as Ray said. Outside of fixing the trenches, you didn't lose people in the trenches. The trenches didn't decommit. Quarterbacks. Right? Quarterbacks move like hotcakes in the transfer market. Also, everything that you guys just said, all that stuff is true, which is why I don't wish to hear you. Like, just be quiet. Go in your office with your staff, whoever that might be. Also, get your staff together. Let's not have in-season OC moves and all that other too much stuff going on this year. You can't run it exactly like the NFL off the break, right? You can't. And like Ray said, too much happened. Lessons were learned, hopefully, for all involved, but you can't just sit here talking about it. Like, into the void. All of these words, just into the void. Into the void. Because nobody, after all the things that's transpired to get to this point, nobody wants to hear it. You guys listed all the things. Just, nobody wants to hear it at all.
Yeah, for me, real quick, the standings. They're 4-8. They're not the worst team overall with the overall win-loss record. They're actually third in the Pac-12 from last. Okay, so, but in conference play, they're absolutely last. They're 1-8. They're the worst team in the Pac-12. So that means the rest of the conference took great pleasure in whooping your ass. That's what happens when you come in cocky. See, I think he has to learn. You're 1-on-1. You're not playing no more. You have to get these other guys and help them grow, motivate them, and help develop them to be able to play at a high level to match your expectations that you have for yourself, but they don't have your talent. So when you putting all this spotlight on your program, talking all this mess of stuff, all these fake ass people coming in, standing on the sideline because you hot and they want to come and use you for clout, make themselves look important, all that. It was cool when you was winning and all that. Like I said, but I know better. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you start getting your head rocked and it didn't stop, ain't nobody going out to Colorado for what? You see what I'm saying? Man, you've been losing so long, my Broncos have turned it around and are in the playoff hunt. That's how, like, think about that, dog. We lost 70-20 like a few weeks ago. Now we're in the playoff hunt. I think this is a life lesson for him. Humble yourself. I don't care how good you were in one lane. When you move to another lane, you got to approach it with the same work ethic and the same hunger that you did to be great in another lane. So I never get in another lane trying to carry success from another lane like, yeah, man, I'm coming. That's how you get your head rocked and you look silly. And right now what you're seeing is when him complaining about the decommits and stuff like that, To me, it's like when Ali was over the hill and he was in the corner getting punished by Larry Holmes, and Larry Holmes, but leading up to the fight when he was talking all that trash, it ain't had the same effect. You know what I'm saying? People just like, oh, this old dude just talking. Instead of being excited, they just like shut up. And then Larry Holmes put the finishing touches on all that. I'm not saying they're quite there yet, but they will be, because see, these, what you need to understand, just like those stars of celebrity are no longer on the sidelines with rocking with you no more, because y'all losing. It's no purpose in that. So will Colorado's administration, athletic department. If you don't turn this thing around real quick, I don't care what they tell you, they will get you about it and just buy you out and keep it moving, man. Like, you gotta keep that perspective, and I hope you understand. I hope you don't think because you Deion Sanders the Hall of Famer that carries weight in this world, because it don't matter. You see what I'm saying? All they care about, the boosters and alumni, all they care about is wins, especially in the Pac-12. Like Ray said, you had a hell of a situation, man. You could have lived that month. You could have been down there forever, 40 years. But you know what I'm saying? Just chilling. But you carried them on the way out. You shitted on them, and ironically, some of the same things you accused them of happened to you. What happened at UCLA? See, and then some of our people will hear us talking about this and just being real and say we hating and stuff like that. We just want to see another black man. We just tearing another black man down, see another black man get down. We like, nah, bro. We just calling it like it is. We calling it like it is, man. Had you left, you could have left, man. But leave on more respectable terms than you did. Honestly, the Suns left on more respectable terms than he did. So what you get now, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of people like, that's what you get. So you don't have as much time as you think. We know how it goes, man. We know how it goes for black coaches in football, man. We know. I don't care about the Hall of Fame credentials as a player. That don't carry weight right now. You don't have as much time as you think. Let another 4-8 season or whatever happen again, 4-9, whatever record is, let that happen again. Let you go 1-8 in the Pac-12 again next year. I guarantee you will be gone. It better be improvement. But, I guess we should just be happy that they have a 3-game improvement from last year. According to something, man. So you can see how that go, man. But yeah, he ain't got no room to complain, especially when you benefited from it. Oh man. Back on the Wizards side, man. Ex-NBA force slams Jordan Poole over a viral video saying he's young, immature, and arrogant. Jordan Poole made headlines on Monday night during a game against the Pistons. Unfortunately, it wasn't a headline an NBA player wants to make. Poole's decision not to take a wide-open jump shot and faking out his defender immediately went viral due to how that choice played out for the Wizards guard. Late in the second quarter, Poole had a wide-open shot, but instead of just taking it, he paused and attempted to flip it up and underhanded layup, which Detroit rookie Oscar Thompson proceeded to swat into the stands. When discussing the play on Tuesday during FanDuel's Running Back NBA show, former NBA player Chandler Parsons gave a brutally honest and harsh critique. Quote, here's the thing. This is Jordan Poole in a nutshell, right? He's young, he's immature, and he's arrogant. That is all three of those things in this play. And that's why he's had some personality issues, Parsons said of Poole. The kid can hoop, he belongs in the NBA, but this is the stuff he does that annoys the coaching staff, that annoys his teammates. This is the frustrating stuff. Since being traded to Washington from the Warriors, Poole has had an up and down season for a Wizards team that struggled to string together wins. While they wound up defeating Detroit in this game, 126-107, that victory stopped a 9-game losing skid and moved Washington 3-14 on the season. As for Poole, he's averaging 17.3 points, 3.6 assists, 2.6 rebounds, and 1.1 steals per game. All of those marks, aside from steals, are down from last season with Golden State, and he's in the midst of his worst season from a shooting perspective since his rookie year in 1920. Poole's currently shooting just 39.7% from the field and 28% from beyond the arc. Ray, it's the Wizard, man. Our Wizard man. Man, we've seen a lot of gosh. What are your thoughts, man?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, right now he's just in over his head, plain and simple, man. He went from one situation from, a reserve role, learning behind veteran guys who've seen everything there is to see in this league, to out singing lead. And it's a different world, man. You know, you always say we're gonna see who you are when the scouting report catch up. You know, going from the middle of the page to the top, it's different, man. You know, and if you're not approaching it with with an attitude of, you know, you need to be focused, and you won't get these type of results. Yeah, he's just put into a position where, you know, he's not stepping up to the plate at this point, plain and simple, man. And the results are reflecting that. You know, I know he went through some things his last season in Golden State, understandably, but you know, you get into a new position where, you know, you're claiming it's your team, and you're going to be a leader and things like that, and you're not prepared to fill that role. This is what you get. You know, hopefully he can reel it in, because he's obviously talented, but, you know, you don't have the things around you that you once had, you know, and it's tough. You know, he went from being one of the youngsters that's learning to one of the guys that's expected to lead and hold others accountable. And you know, we seen how it goes when people aren't equipped to do that. You know, we saw it with the last guy that was here, and we saw what those results were. So yeah, man, he just got to focus, man. And if he can't, then, you know, that process will run its course, like you just talked about with Dion. You know, if you're not getting it done, then they'll find somebody who will.
Wilson.
Look, man, be careful what you ask for. You know, you did what you did in Golden State, whatever, and, you know, slightly what happened to you, which is a whole nother discussion, because I'm not mature about that in hindsight. Because I get it, dude. Just, this is a huge opportunity. I'm gonna keep saying this. The opportunity that was presented to him and Kuz. Kuz has made has definitely made more of the opportunity than Jordan has. This is a crazy opportunity that he's fumbling. It's a really bad opportunity that you're fumbling. Like, you're a smaller guard. Like, at least Kuz at the end of the day, like 6'9", 6'10" forward or something. Someone's gonna care, right? What are you out here doing? So everything's down, and you were coming off the bench in your previous stop. Yeah, life's gonna be different when people are worried about stuff, like very worried about stuff, worried about Clay. Like, there were so many things to worry about. You were getting one-on-one, and it was never any team's best guy. People were busy, they were stressed, and you got to just play with your food and do what you want, have a great time. As Ray said, Cardell, you say it all the time. Right? You on the first page now. You and Kuz on the first page. You have their attention. This is what you say you wanted. You walk around with your game suggested this is what you wanted, or whatever. This is what you wanted, is opportunity that was given to you, and struggling. Yeah, there's still time to go in the year, but what are we, like 15 games in, 16, 17? We're approaching 20 games in. We're about to hit the 20 game mark. You need to rebound quickly. Otherwise, like, this contract that you just got is gonna be the last big one you get. It's gonna be off what Oubre had to sign for when he came off a good year, just had to take a 1 year deal. Like, it's gonna happen quick. It's happening quick, and it's happening in front of you. You have to find a way to slow this down. And right now, you've done everything to keep just to stay in this horrible place. Like, this play's ridiculous. I don't know if this is worse than the behind the back lollygag thing, the shooting over Porzingis or not, but this is horrible. Bruh, take the jumper. Asar been out here trying to put your center in the basket since the game started. And you was like, I'm going to take a step in and scoop it over Asar. Just score. Like I get it. You have to be confident to be in the pros and whatnot, but he's thrown a golden opportunity away, and he makes it where you can't defend anything that anybody says.
Octavian.
So I feel like you guys covered all of, like, the basketball aspects of it, but like it's making me think, like, how did he grow up? Like, it's giving me like somebody who just don't take anything seriously to a certain extent. Like, it's giving me the guy like I always gotta, I gotta showboat, I gotta show off, and it's making me feel like, do you really love the game? Because I feel like you out there to like perform like something as opposed to like really play the game. Like, this was asinine. I don't even know what this is. Like, I hope they like back in the day, like my coach would be like, come out, go sit down somewhere. Like, I'll see you next week. Like, that's the type of thing. I'm like, I don't understand what it is. It's like, and I know it's like they said, like maturity and those things that come with it. And it's just like, bruh, like, what are you doing? Like, that's literally what is this in my head. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is the point and the purpose behind this? It's like, now I feel like I need to be a therapist and be like, how were you raised? What happened to you as a child? Because it just doesn't make any sense. And I think that's what's frustrating for, fans of the game or fans of him, because we've seen him not do this and go to state. And it's like, I don't know if the contract went to his head and it just kind of blew everything else out of proportion. He's like, I'm good enough. I got this big ass contract. I can do what I want to do. That's what is given off. And yeah, and it's like you wanted to go to this. Well, you didn't want to go to this team, but you ended up at this team where you get an opportunity to be the guy, and this is what you do as the guy, which it just doesn't make sense to me. So it's like at this point, I'm thinking he has a chemical imbalance in his brain, because I'm like, that don't make sense. I literally, because I do everything I can do not to watch Wizards games. So to see this is just, I'm flabbergasted, to be completely honest. Like, I don't understand the point and the purpose of it. I guess that's what always throws me off. It's like, why would you do that? And it seems like it's a normal, regular thing for him. And I don't know what it's going to take for him to stop doing that. It's like, I feel like he's trying to prove a point to a certain extent. Like, I was that good in Golden State. I could still be that good here. Like, it wasn't all just Steph. I could do stuff like I could do stuff like Steph, like Steph do stuff like that. I could do stuff like that. And it's like, bro, chill. You're not Steph. Like, and I don't know who has to tell him that. And it's crazy because he literally came from a group with good vets, but obviously, the hindsight is 2020 from the situation that happened between him and Draymond. We know Draymond is pretty much wrong 99% of the time when it comes to altercations, but I feel like he might have had the 1% this time. If Shorty was doing stuff like this, I would be like, hey, bro, you do got to see me outside, because that would piss me off. Can you imagine like running a actual practice and you running up and down the court, y'all working hard, and this asshole do this? I'd be like, hey, bro, you got to see me. Because I can imagine, like, I know it was like that for me as a female playing sports, and I know men's bravados are definitely going to be like, bro, like, come on. What are you doing? Like, I've watched enough. I know enough basketball players. I know enough guy basketball players. I've watched enough of Last Chance Use when they be in there about to rumble with their teammate, like, bruh, so I don't know what it is. I hope he gets it together, because like you all stated as well, he's a hell of a player when he has his mind in the game. But it's like he's auditioning for Shaqtin' a Fool every night. It's like he's the new JaVale McGee. And I don't even think JaVale McGee did that stuff on purpose. I think he do this stuff on purpose. And I'm going to say a silent prayer for him that he gets it together. Because if you doing stuff like this in Washington, one of the worst teams in the league, and it's been like that for a while, and if they get sick of that, bro, where you going to end up? I don't know.
Yeah, just for me to really put things in perspective, he is, out of 17 players on the Wizards roster, including the two ways, of course. He's 16th out of 17th in offensive rating at 94. And same thing, he's 14th in defensive rating out of 17 players. Only players worse is Tyus Jones and Corey Kispert and Patrick Baldwin Jr. Like his defensive rating is a 122. He's actually tied with Tyus Jones and Kispert is worse than him, and Patrick Baldwin Jr., who's a two-way, who don't even play, is worse than him. You gotta humble himself, man. You know, like I said, he plays like a summer league dude, just trying to get his 30 or 40, and just taking a bunch of shots, and that's how he plays. And he carries it like the attitude. Y'all seen Above the Rim when they was about to play in that at the end of the movie, they was about to play in the tournament, and Cal finally comes back to his high school team. That dude was like, "Man, I'm on the guard you need, coach. Man, get to the back of the bus." That's Jordan Poole. That's what his attitude remind me of. You see what I'm saying? I got everything you need, coach. And then he get out there and he can't do nothing. You see what I'm saying? And the simple thing is, all he gotta do is simplify his game. You practice. It's like he's working with one of these fluke ass trainers, telling him to do this tween step back, all that bullshit, and then he actually is trying to do it in the game, and he's realizing it don't work. Well, no kidding. Guys are too athletic, too good. They're not gonna let you just dance on them and play games with them and all that. When you got an open shot, like on that play, you gotta take the shot because it's gonna close quick. The window's gonna close quick. It's like he think he playing in a summer league game, dog. And somebody also said it's like he playing to impress a girl in the crowd in real time. And it's just like,
Spice.
yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know who it is, if it is somebody, but my point is, man, look, Draymond hit him with a good shot. If that didn't do anything, look, I mean, what's the like? Got to stomp him out, like put him near death. Like I'm just being real, dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Draymond trips, but it's clear. Yeah, my man, I get it.
He probably home
I
like
want to put my hands on him too. You know what I'm saying? Even some of the shots, like that Porzingis shot. You like you in a man, and see the bad thing is, my apologies, Denny. In the preseason, Denny did that jump. And he was like, "Real dog, you gonna do that?" I was like, "It's kind of early for that, Denny. You was wrong. It's kind of early." But Denny practices with this fool every day. He's been seeing him practice. He was fed. He's like, "Dog, we ain't got time." So Denny was right. My bad, Denny, man. I apologize, dog. Because you was ahead of the game, man. You knew what was coming, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people are bad. Like, yeah, you're right, Octavia. Man, and I'm ashamed to say it, man. I had to rumble with like 4 teammates, man. It gotta be that way because some dudes just gotta be habitual line steppers, man. You gotta put your hands on them, man, because it's like, I'm trying to win, bro. Whatever you got going on, say that for summer league pickup. You do whatever you want, man. This shit count right here. This shit count for real, dog. It's record books. It's part of a school, the NBA. I ain't trying to be in the jump for the wrong reason because you tripping. Man, we gotta get all right then. Shoot another bad shot. That's all I'm gonna say. And then it's gonna work. What's gonna happen is gonna happen, man. And I'll take the fine, the suspension, all that. But I bet you won't be shooting like that no more. So it gotta be like that, man. And it's sad. I hope he turn it around, man, because you can see the talent. It's just being directed wrong by him. Because I know Wes Unseld ain't like, yeah, man, you had a wide open shot, don't shoot it. Step in and try to do a little sweet finger roll in traffic. I know he ain't telling him to do that. I know he ain't gonna say go behind your back on the break, try to shoot over a 7-3 dude, and he right there. I know he ain't say that. So it's on him, man. Because like you said, Wilson, league moves on quickly, and especially on bad teams. Like, why would I value you as a max player and you couldn't even help your team win? You're one of the worst teams in the league. Don't have your agent calling me talking about what you demand and all that, dog. You better take this minimum and get the hell up out of here. And that's if you can get it, man. Because it's clear now. This is Kuz's team. It ain't a very good team, but Kuz's the guy. It ain't even close. Jordan Poole, you just hit. It's Kuz and everybody else, man. So, yeah, it's a long fall, man. Hopefully he can turn it around, man. But it starts with his attitude adjustment, man. And I'm trying to see, like, if this start and his poor efficiency in play hasn't turned his attitude around, what will?
That's the question, right? And anybody has an answer for it. And the other part of it is we don't even know if you make it to the All-Star break here. We don't know what ends up happening. All we know right now is that your contract currently. It is not immovable. And like you just said, you had opportunity from it being y'all's team. That's gone.
But let's be realistic. You talking about moving on? We know what value do he have to move?
I'm not even saying you get anything back. But what you're getting might be peace of mind if this continues.
But what did they give up to give him? That ain't a good start for this regime, dog.
Nah, it's not. And what year of this contract is it? He just signed an extension his last year and go to state, right? So this is year 2 of the contract extension.
I think it is.
You gonna be right.
Like, you shouldn't be here in the second year of the extension.
I'll look it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he signed a 4-year, $128 million contract with the Warriors, including $123 million guaranteed. Average salary of 32. This season, he will average a base salary of 27 by carrying cap hit of 27. So yeah, it was signed last year.
This is year 2.
Hope he's saving.
It's just not a good look. And like you said, if
got a good money page.
This year 2, and he was traded to Washington for Golden State with the 2030 first round pick. Damn. I ain't realized that, traded to Washington from Golden State with the 2030 first round pick, top 20 protected, 2027 second round pick, and Ryan Rollins, Patrick Baldwin for Chris Paul.
Right, they sent picks with him to go,
including the first round pick. Yeah, that's crazy.
They literally paid a price. Like they paid his way to move. We only year 2, year 1 here. We'll see if it turns around or not, man. But it's a horrible look. And Cardell, you mentioned all the time, like, hey, pro sports moves quick, man. Moves so very quick.
Sports in general move quick.
Man,
they replace you on the high school team.
Sports moves quick. Like, man, look. We'll see what ends up happening, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in as always. We'll get at y'all next week. For you Wizards fans, we'll see y'all a couple times. We'll see you guys a couple times before then with them in the midst of this road trip on Wizards Outlook. Don't forget to tune in, leave a comment. We appreciate you guys that already do. Feel free to join that conversation and get over to thefocustv.com. Don't forget, Wednesday mornings, as early as 9 a.m. on our Roku channel. If you have a Roku television device, all you have to do is add our channel, and to do so, go to the search box, type in the Focus TV, double tap OK on the remote, and it is done. Y'all have a great week.